I've been a bit of a bad Canadian lately. I haven't been paying attention to these investigations into the Emergency Act, mostly because I knew it was unconstitutional when it was pulled back in February to get rid of those dastardly truckers with all of their honking. It was garbage when he did it, and what is this eventually going to figure out? Well, just how garbage it was. But there's a couple of interesting things that have come out from this, okay? Mostly that some of the more sympathetic police officers were leaking information to some of the heads of the convoys to know that, this is when some of the more stringent and stronger enforcement's going to be coming through. So just make sure you guys clean up your act appropriately and, wait for them to pass and all that stuff. And then after that, hey, man, feel free to just, continue to do what you guys do. And we really do support you out there. So there wasn't really a lot of support for Trudeau, and again, the admittance over and over and over again that the Emergency Act wasn't needed, wasn't constitutional. It's been reinforced multiple times over. So realistically, these investigations, that's why it doesn't hold my attention. That's why it's not something that I want to tune in on this, because I know exactly what it is. And then I also know the outcome of this. It'll just be another thing that'll just roll off of Trudeau's back like water on a duck, okay? And every time that I see his stupid face, I want to scream something that rhymes with duck. But it's not fuck. I think he's a cuck. Anyways, Trudeau repeats that international partners, the fuck are you talking about? Expressed concern over Convoy when asked about invoking Emergencies Act. Can you point to who that is exactly? Because I've got some ideas, but you could just say, oh, well, it was affecting international commerce, okay, between, especially across the Windsor Bridge right there. We couldn't get goods and services exchanged between the United States and us, and they really wanted us to enact that Emergency Act to clean up the protest that was already cleaned up prior to you invoking the Emergencies Act. Just wondering, because that's the biggest thoroughfare, okay, that's the biggest throughway where all of the commerce happens along the Canadian-American borders. So outside of that, were they really concerned about Coots, or the one that sprung up in the late stages in BC, or what was going on? Where was one in Manitoba? I think there was another one. Two big ones across the border were the one in Windsor, Ontario, and then the other one down there at Coots, right at the southern Alberta border with, I think, Idaho. I think that's the way that one works. Not entirely sure, but I think that's what it was. I remember where it was, at least on, my side of the border. Let's see what this shit dick has to say. Dumbass on Friday said that international partners had expressed concerns about the Freedom Convoy protests lead up to the federal government invoking the Emergencies Act on February 14th. Ugh. Quite frankly, there were concerns expressed by international partners as well. Oh my god, other people wanted us to do stuff, and I'm not a strong enough leader to just deal with stuff by myself. So my friends were feeling bad about this, so I had to do something in order to make them feel better. Seeing the illegal occupations at border crossings, what was illegal about them? I'm just wondering. If they were so illegal, you should have been able to get rid of them without the Emergencies Act. Just saying, yes, the illegal occupation of border crossings of sites across the country. There was like 3 or 4. Okay. 2 days before invoking the emergency powers, Trudeau told his ministers that a number of international partners expressed concern with the government's ability to handle the protests, according to cabinet meeting minutes. Interesting. Okay. Why do international partners have a single bit of influence with the federal government? That's very, it should be concerning. But it's not exactly all that surprising, because we know that Trudeau's in the pockets of a lot of people, because he's an open fucking globalist. He's right there on the WEF's fucking front page. He is their golden child. So many things were causing instability and difficulties for Canadians. No, not really. Shit Dick said, adding that there were security concerns for people across the country. Where? I lived through the entire fucking thing, and we reported on it day after day after day, and I don't seem to recall any of that stuff. But then again, you're the one with the international partners, and all of them expressing legitimate concern about things that were definitely happening. These are things that Canadians remember from the convoy occupations, and that is part of why the inquiry into the use of the Emergencies Act, which is something that we invoked, is so important. Fuck off. The Public Order Emergency Commission, the POEC, currently examining the basis in which the federal government invoked the Emergencies Act in February to evaluate if the act's use was justified. And what's ultimately going to come out of this one? Oh, it was kind of murky. I guess it was just kind of an opinion. Okay, it was, just a judgment call, and we don't necessarily agree with it, eh? But that's the way that it shaked out, huh? Trudeau and several other members of his cabinet, including Public Safety Minister Mark Medicino and Justice Minister David Lamenti, are set to testify before the commission nears the end of its public hearing phase. Yeah, I'm sure they'll be great and wonderful and fantastic. It's just like those January 6 hearings. It's going to have the same amount of ramifications, okay? Trudeau will be slapped with another controversy, and then he'll smile, and then all of those is going to say something that YouTube doesn't really like all that much, but I'll just sit for. Sycophants in the GTA will continue to think that, oh, it was just those evil rednecks that were just down there honking their horns, and I remember I could hear them from all the way down in Toronto. We need to continue to vote for the pretty drama teacher because otherwise Nazis will take over Ottawa. We don't want that, do we? Motherfucker has like 30% support, and that's good enough. That is fine enough to run a country. Fuck you. Here's another reason why I'm not all that optimistic about the future. A little bit more so. Like, I think Pierre, don't ask me to pronounce his last name, French guy, he's the leader of the CPC, Conservative Party of Canada, for those of you who don't know, but he's the leader of the official opposition, and he's fine, okay? He's very fine, and he likes to get his little sound bites out there. He makes a bunch of little goofy YouTube videos, and he has a suspiciously deep voice for such a slight little man, but he's effective at getting under the skin of Trudeau, just like a virus that likes to attack his T cells. And boy, is he ever getting fat. What a little pudgy bitch. You're not looking too much twinkish. You should really put down those fucking ice cream cones, you weirdo. Poilievre, Polly Pocket slams Trudeau's Liberals' economic plan for creating more debt than all previous prime ministers combined. Oh, well, we had a pandemic. All right, bitch. Oh, now if you're going to go ahead and spend all that money, what's with these carbon taxes, and why are you shutting down drilling and making it difficult for anybody to fucking earn a living? How about that? Why don't you do that one? No, my pandemic. He loves that excuse. But does he love black people? Canada's Conservatives and the New Democrats both criticized the Trudeau Liberals' fall economic update. Please, just fucking vote of no confidence. I know the NDP is just going to sucker up to Trudeau anyways. They already made this pact that we don't need to continue to go back and forth towards the voting booth over and over again in order to come to a consensus. Mostly because they kind of know that this might be the final kick at the can. It's kind of why they don't want to do this, because after all of this pandemic shit fucking finally wears thin, they know that the chickens are coming home to roost, and they'll hopefully all be gone. A boy can dream. The update, in which tabled by and presented by Deputy Prime Minister, where's a big dude in a wife beater when you need him? Chrystia Freeland on Thursday says that Canada will return to a balanced budget by 2027. What was your last prognostication? 2025 or 2023? I can't quite remember, but don't worry, it's always in the future. It's just like that carrot that's hanging off of the stick that the dog can just never quite get to. It's just right there. If I just run a little bit, no, now I got, no. Yeah, no. The national debt currently sits at 1.1 trillion. Yeah, it's a far cry from that, 31 trillion that the states have, but we don't quite have the same amount of defense spending, or, we're not sending off another $400 billion to the Ukraine. I'm sorry, not that much. The 400 million. Sorry, I don't want to oversell it, That's just the total sent over so far. Is not, everything they're sending over right now. Anyways, with inflation at 7%, it's higher than that. The highest year-over increase in 39 years. Yay, we're just following right along with Joe. The Conservatives demanded no new tax on workers and seniors and no new spending, unless matched by equal savings. Two criteria the leader, Peter Poilievre, says the Liberals failed to meet. Yeah, but don't worry, because there's another thing that I seen. Chrystia Freeland, the Deputy Prime Minister, that bitch, she said that if people, this bitch actually said this, and you can fact check me and you can find it yourself, but I'm not playing any video because, we're just a little bit, flying by the seat of our pants until a bunch of the strikes fall off the channel, and I'm not going to fucking risk any of that shit, okay? I want to push the line. I don't want to, necessarily invoke anything. I'll just go ahead and repeat this. You can find it, of course, because, hey, mass media is not going to tell you about it, but I can at least point you in the right direction. But she said if Canadians are concerned about rising inflation, they can cancel their Disney Plus accounts. This entitled elitist bitch, not that fucking long ago, was up here in my neck of the woods saying, I'm just one of you people. I was born in this area. I was raised in this area. I have the same concerns that you do, and I am a proud Albertan. If you have a tough time paying bills, just don't have a streaming service. You elitist fucking cunt. How did we get here? How much time you got? The cost of government is driving up the cost of living. $500 billion of inflationary deficits has bid up the cost of goods we buy and the interest that we pay. Inflationary taxes have increased in the cost of business, farmers, and workers to produce those very same goods, explained Polly Pocket, who said that Liberals are telling Canadians that spending is necessary. It's really not. More debt than all previous prime ministers combined. He added $100 billion before the first COVID case was ever discovered in Canada. He can't blame COVID for that. He blew through his promise that the deficit would never exceed $10 billion. Well, it was already $100 billion in total before the first case of COVID. Then, when the coup came, 40% of all new spending measures had nothing to do with COVID. Yeah, but a bunch of people got some really nice stuff, and he got to get flued out to a bunch of different cool places. Oh my God, I wish you could have come because it would have been really fun. According to the Prime Minister's own named Parliamentary Budget Office, $200 billion of spending unrelated to COVID, and even amongst the COVID spending was an all-you-can-eat buffet of waste and mismanagement. Yeah, but that's the Trudeau government, and guess what? Nothing's gonna come out of it, okay? He's gonna eventually have to get beat at the fucking ballot box, okay? Because the NDP is just gonna continue to prop him up, okay? I'm not trying to doom pill on this shit. This is just the fucking way it is. And until the NDP breaks their little pact that they have with the government or time runs out, we just gotta sit here and fucking spin and have long goddamn memories in order to hold these cunts accountable. In 2024, Christ all fucking mighty, the world is going to be wild in the next couple of years, but hey man, relief is on the horizon. Just hopefully we can all make it there for that. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.